No, this is a special edition brought to you by WVSportsNation.com. Go to WVSportsNation.com. Everything about West Virginia athletics right there. Bookmark it, put it in your phone every day. You want to go to WVSportsNation.com, the number one website in West Virginia, all about West Virginia University. And you're on our flagship here in West Virginia across our 9 stations. My name is John Fredericks. As you know, I have the morning show 6 to 10, and this is a special edition for a very special guest. And with us, we have the honor of having the West Virginia University Mountaineers wrestling coach, Tim Flynn, completing his 7th year with the Mountaineers, came from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, so not that far away, kind of knows the weather situation. That's a D2 school, but they had a D1 wrestling team, which is kind of neat. And he's joining us now. Hey, Coach Tim Flynn, thanks for being with us.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
So listen, I wanted to have you on because wrestling is a sport in West Virginia that has tremendous popularity. We got a lot of great players in it. You just don't get the media coverage like obviously football, basketball, baseball does. But you guys have been really solid this season. You got a winning record. And you're a little bit banged up now going to the tournament, but kind of give us a recap, Coach, on the season. What happened, highs and lows, sir?
I guess, the season started off really well. We had 2 All-Americans returning, and, we were ranked in the top 20. But almost immediately, one of our returning All-Americans, Ty Waters, got hurt. So kind of affected our season, and since then we've had a couple guys go down, but I think in a positive way we had a lot of guys step up to allow us to we kept our ranking throughout the year, which was nice, and we finished at 10-7, which obviously we have higher goals, but I think all things considered, the guys really stepped up and did a pretty good job this year.
So you're going to the Big 12 tournament that starts Saturday, right? Well, first of all,
Yes.
Where is it?
It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's been there since I've been at West Virginia.
So even though Oklahoma is no longer in the Big 12, they still have it there?
Well, so Oklahoma State, is pretty darn close to Tulsa, so it's almost like a home match for them, which is bad. But Tulsa does such a good job hosting the tournament. We've really gotten to know the town, so it's kind of familiar. So it's really nice for us to have our, NCAA qualifier and Big 12 championships there. And Oklahoma actually is still in as an affiliate in wrestling. So we still do see the Sooners, at our tournament.
Oh, so they're still as an affiliate. Okay, so that makes sense. So what is your goal going into this tournament? What's the goal? Win it, obviously.
Yeah, the main goal is for the individuals. They want to win Big 12 championships, but more importantly, you want to qualify for the NCAA tournament. That's a real key, and to do that, every weight class has different amount of qualifiers that they get. So one weight you might have to finish in the top 7. One weight you might have to finish in the top 4. So that's really the end goal is to do well at the NCAA tournament. So, and to do that, you have to qualify. So that's the real immediate goal.
We're with Coach Tim Flynn, head wrestling coach at West Virginia University, obviously men's wrestling. Coach, tell us about recruiting into West Virginia wrestling team. And when you think about West Virginia, obviously we're very focused on Rodriguez in football. Saban's trying to go to Omaha in baseball. You got DeVries trying to get to the dance, maybe get to the Sweet 16. The women's basketball team, Coach Mark Kellogg, he's got a shot to get to the Final Four. So those are the big names. So when you go out there and you want to recruit top talent for West Virginia wrestling, how do you do that?
Well, I think you always sell yourself first and foremost, and the institution. We have a great school. We have great facilities. So you can come here and now, with the kids, as our team has gotten better, it's an easier sell because now, hey, you can get a great education. This is a great area. The people are unbelievable, but you can also reach your goals on the mat. And Peyton Hall is two-time All-American, hopefully a three-timer coming up here soon. So the more success you have, the more you can sell that. But I think you always go back to selling, what you have. And we have a great product here and a great school to sell.
So if I'm listening to you right now and I'm a high school wrestler, why should I come and wrestle for Tim Flynn?
I think we have a system in place where, we had success at Edinburgh. We had some really, really good teams and had a lot of kids place at the NCAA tournament, a number of national champions. And I think you're going to get treated, the way I would treat my son. And maybe sometimes that's not always a good thing. But, I think we treat the kids like family. And I think a lot of people appreciate that.
Tim, let me ask you about navigating your way through the new NIL universe and kids. There's only so many scholarships. There's only so much money. West Virginia has a shortfall, as everyone knows, about $20 million from paying the players. Plus, you got to get NIL money. You're competing with that. How is a veteran coach like yourself navigating through the new NCAA rules?
Well, I think there's always something going on, and there's always, advantages that some schools have over other schools. I just, you mentioned I came from a smaller school, so, comparatively, we have unbelievable facilities and advantages here that other schools don't have, and then some other schools might have things that West Virginia doesn't have. I think you just sell what you have, and obviously we've got to raise a little bit of money here and there to help our program, whether it's with facilities, whether it's with NIL. That aspect, even before the NIL, you're always raising some money for your program. So, when you look at the kind of the big picture, things haven't changed too much. We're, some kids are getting payments but we're still coaching them the same way. We're still going out trying to raise money. So I don't know, just got to roll with the punches.
Tim, Coach Tim Flynn with us, head coach, men's wrestling, West Virginia University. Tim, let me ask you about, you mentioned your potential now three-time All-American. You also had a lot of injuries, as you said at the beginning of the show. Who are give me a couple of your really surprise players who stepped up and you were like, whoa, I wasn't sure I saw that coming. Give us a couple of those.
Yeah, I think that the biggest one this year, we've seen flashes from our 125-pounder, Jet Strickenberger. We've seen flashes. We saw it last year. He'd have a really, really good match, but then he would have, not so good of a match, so he was inconsistent. And I think this year, he's just really, especially this second semester, been a lot more consistent with his performance. And he's risen in the rankings. I think he's always been kind of in the rankings somewhere, but now he's a top 12 guy in the country. And, somebody that's, we're hoping can get into the Big 12 finals and hopefully do some damage at the Nationals. So I would say he's the one that's kind of, I don't know, surprised some people, not us so much. We've seen the talent, but now he's a lot more consistent and people are taking notice.
When you get one of the younger players in from high school, how long does it really take you to mold them to be able to compete in a match at the Power 4 D1 level?
Yeah, I think that's case by case. Some kids are physically more mature. I will say in general, most of the time now, when I went to school, I was, I don't know, just turned 17 years old or I don't know. I was pretty young. Didn't look like these kids are so much more physically gifted. There's just more knowledge out there, right? Whether it's nutrition, strength and conditioning, even technique in different sports. So I think there's just more and more knowledge out there. So these kids can sometimes come in a lot more ready than, say, Tim Flynn was. But yeah, some kids are more like match ready, and some kids need a year or 2 or 3. I mean, if you really think about it, if a young man's a 2-time NCAA All-American, that means usually it means he plays his 4th and 5th year of comp, because he redshirts a year. So that means 3 years you're not placing. You're in, maybe you're the backup wrestler, maybe you're a second string for 2 or 3 years. So our one of our assistants, Cliff Moore, I think he was a backup at University of Iowa for 2 seasons. Then he was a 3-time All-American and national champion. So sometimes it takes a little time to get these guys where they need to be.
Coach, the majority of your new recruits now, is it coming from high schools? Is it coming from the portal? Is it a combination? Tell us about that in wrestling.
I mean, in a perfect world, you want to supplement your recruiting with the portal. For us so far, we've dabbled in the portal a little bit. We got a couple guys that have helped us. Obviously, Killian Cardinale was an All-American for us a couple years ago, and Tommy Maddox is in the lineup now, and Jet Strickenberger came from a junior college. But I feel like in a perfect world, you get a nice mix. You get some super studs out of high school, and then you try to get in the portal, which we'll try to do this spring, and kind of fill in gaps where you need guys.
Tim, how do you evaluate high school talent?
They always told me, like, you look at a bracket, whether it's, you're probably familiar with the basketball brackets. You go all the way to the right, and the guy on the end, that's the guy who won the tournament. That's a good place to start. I know it's a joke, but the best indicator of future success is past success, right? I mean, obviously we want to see guys that work hard, that compete hard, and we do our homework. But at the end of the day, yeah, you want to see those guys that are having success already.
What as you go through that process and you're evaluating kids, is there a particular region of the country that you're focused on, that you've had success in?
I mean, fortunately for us, Pennsylvania and Ohio are probably the 2 premier states, in Pennsylvania being the top state usually in the country for high school wrestling. So we don't have to go far, but then again, everybody in the country is in Pennsylvania trying to snag
Right.
those kids. So we'll take them from wherever. We have a kid committed, signed from California this year. We've got Tennessee coming in, Ohio. So if they can wrestle, we'll take them. I don't care if they're from Mars.
All right, Tim, final thing. What is your biggest challenge going into this tournament Saturday night? Like the one thing, like if you overcome that, you're in really good shape. What is it?
Well, we've got to rise above where we're seated. We have a number of guys unseated, but I feel like they're capable of qualifying for the national tournament. They got to believe. They've got to believe that it can be done. At the end of the day, it's no different than any other sport. You get on a run, you win 2 or 3 matches. Maybe in basketball, it's 2 or 3 games, and all of a sudden you're right where you want to be. So I think we just have to believe in ourselves.
Coach Tim Flynn, head wrestling coach, West Virginia University, going to the tournament on Saturday in Tulsa. Tim, people want to get in touch with you. They want to follow you. They're a senior in high school. They might want to be able to reach out while they're eligible to talk to a coach. Where do they go?
They go right on our website, WVU Sports. They can hit wrestling. They'll find me. They have coaches, and that's how a lot of kids reach out. So just right on the website. I know it's a pretty nice website. I enjoy it, and they can read up on our program, but that's how they can reach us.
All right. Tim Flynn, head wrestling coach, West Virginia University. Tim, thanks for being with us on this special edition of WVTheTorch.com. Go to WVTheTorch.com for all of our programming information. and to follow all of West Virginia athletics. You got one place to go, Tim, and that is WVSportsNation.com. That's WVSportsNation.com. Tim Flynn, thanks for being with us. Good luck Saturday. Come home with a lot of winners. I think you're going to shock a lot of people. It's going to be the shocker.
That's what we're hoping for.
You're gonna shock the world, baby.
That's the plan. Let's go Mountaineers.